Saturday, January 7th, 61st day of the race on the Vendée Globe.
Un dernier petit bouteille de champagne.
My last little bottle of champagne. Ahead of the race since December 3rd, that being 35 days, Armel Leclerc is now again in the Northern Hemisphere and is beginning to suffer the first doldrums effects. We understand how a little of Neptune's help could be welcome.
Il fait chaud,
Here,
ça mousse un peu.
it's warm and foaming a bit.
Pour le passage de l'équateur.
Here's to the crossing of the equator. Cheers to Neptune.
Ah, il a
a little warm.
La dernière fois qu'on était passé là,
Last we were
c'était
here
le 16
was on
novembre
November
dernier,
16th.
donc ça fait du bien, ça marque
Feels good.
voilà, la dernière
This
ligne
marks
droite
the
dans
final
les Sables
stretch
d'Olonne.
to Les Sables d'Olonne.
Mais la météo n'est pas
But the
simple
weather hasn't
jusque-là.
been easy so far.
Mais on va déjà essayer de sortir du
We're
poteau
going to
noir.
try
On
getting
a eu
out
pas
of the
mal
doldrums.
d'orages cette
We've had a
nuit,
few
des gros
storms
grains,
overnight
beaucoup de
already.
pluie.
Heavy rains, lots of rain.
Et là c'est bien couvert,
It's nice and
bon,
cloudy.
c'est un peu plus calme, mais
Well, it's a little calmer, but there's still some
il
wind.
y a un petit peu de vent
Thank
quand même,
goodness.
heureusement.
While he was 800 miles ahead around the Cape Horn, Armel is now only 145 miles in front of Alex Thompson. Now back in the North Atlantic, the Welsh too must compose with rain, heavy storms and dead winds. But as on the way over, he seems more successful in this unstable meteorological area.
Champagne sailing conditions at the moment, going pretty fast. It's a bit patchy, but still going pretty good. Still working on the foil. You can see that down here. So at the moment the routing's saying it's about 11, 12 days into Les Sables d'Olonne. Hopefully there's going to be an opportunity to catch up. But we'll just have to see. Hopefully Armel will be slowing down shortly. And I will be still going strong. But keep your fingers crossed. I'm working hard. See what happens.
The South Pacific shows similarities with the doldrums, notably for a small group of competitors in the vicinity of the Point Nemo, the planet's most isolated point, 2,700 kilometers from the nearest land.
À bord d'Amicali, on
Aboard
est par
Micaline, we're by 52
50
degrees
sud.
south,
Et on se
and you
croirait
think we're in weak trade winds.
dans des alizés faibles. Donc voilà, c'est plutôt
It's
sympa,
rather
mais,
nice.
voilà le...
Here's the lowdown.
Voilà.
There's a nice side to it, but it's also stressful because we're not going very fast.
C'est
It's
une
a
vraie
real
guerre
war
des
of
nerfs là,
nerves.
on a une
We've got
barrière
a high pressure
cyclonique
barrier in
devant
front
nous.
of us, the Antarctic
La zone
exclusion
d'exclusion
zone, and
antarctique,
the
la
Antarctic
ZEA, nous
exclusion
empêche
zone
bien
obviously
évidemment de
prevents us
descendre au
from
sud
going
pour la
south to
contourner, donc
skirt
en fait on est obligé de la
So we've got
traverser
to cross
et elle se
through, and it's
déplace avec
moving
nous
along
finalement vers l'est,
eastwards with us.
cette bulle
This high pressure
anticyclonique, donc
bubble
c'est
is
assez
quite a
pénible.
nuisance.
Et donc
Other
voilà,
than
c'est vrai
that, we
qu'après
have
c'est des conditions
magical
magiques hein, parce que la mer est
conditions.
plate,
Sea,
il fait
weather's
beau,
beautiful. We
on
see the
voit
light
la
of the
lumière
ice flow
dans
on
notre
starboard
tribord de la
reflecting
banque
the
sud qui
sun.
reflète le soleil,
Night,
dans la nuit
it's
c'est absolument
absolutely
incroyable,
unbelievable.
mais du point de vue de la
But
course
from a
c'est quand
racing
même un
point
peu
of view,
l'enfer.
it's a disaster.
Je préfère finalement
In
quand
the
il y a
end, I
35
prefer
nœuds
having
dans une
35 knots
dépression.
winds in a depression. Quasi-summer-like conditions perfectly adapted to flying a kite, on which Fabrice Amédéo had the brilliant idea of installing a camera.
Nures Matmut par 50 degrés
US
sud,
Matmut by 50
qui déboule
degrees
sur mer
south,
plate.
dashing
On
on
se
a
croirait en
calm
été.
sea. You'd think
Vers
this
le
is
Cap
summer
Horn.
on the way to
C'est
Cape
magique.
Horn.
Wouh!
Magical.
Here now, letters burning by my bed for you. Here now, I can feel my instincts here for you. Here now.
For Sébastien Destremo, it is truly summer here south of Australia. Sheltered in a small bay off Tasmania since January 3rd, he's back in the race after having performed a complete check of his rig and probably other repairs as well.
On est reparti, ça y est.
We're
On
off
est de
again.
nouveau.
Finally,
On
we're
est de
back,
nouveau en course.
back in the race.
C'est
It's
top.
great.
On a réussi à quitter la
We were
baie
able
de
to leave the bay of
Port
Port
Espérance
Esperance early
ce matin
this
très
morning.
tôt, avec un petit
Just
filet
a
d'air qui nous a
tiny
juste
breath of
aidé
air.
à sortir et
Got
passer
us
la
through the
passe.
pass.
Donc vraiment très
So really,
heureux.
really happy. Back en
On
route to
refait
Les
route
Sables
vers les
d'Olonne.
Sables d'Olonne.
A little over 2 months after the start, one competitor is just entering the Pacific Ocean while others have already shifted into the North Atlantic. Right in the middle of an 18 still valid boat fleet spread over nearly 17,000 kilometers, a 60-year-old who came from Hungary and whose discretion has no equal but his tenacity, Nandorfa is participating to his third Vendée Globe, and on January 9th, it's no less than the fifth crossing of the Cape Horn for which he can be proud of.
La magie des 50e.
780 miles behind Nandorfa, comme un seul homme skipper, Eric Bellion never ceases to surprise, and probably to himself as well. Ninth in the ranking, he is accomplishing an impressive second half of the course. He somehow recalls the moment in the race when everything shifted, not to the dark side, but rather towards the light side of the force.
Jusqu'aux mers du Sud, j'étais assez
Up until the
crispé
South Seas, I
et
was
je
quite
naviguais
tense,
pas à ma
not
façon.
sailing my
Et
usual
il y a un
way.
moment où il y a eu une grosse
And at
dépression dans
some
l'Indien et
point,
j'ai
there was a
décidé d'aller
huge
la
depression in
chercher.
the Indian Ocean,
Alors que
and
tous mes
there I
compagnons
decided to
restaient
go
au
and get
sud
it.
et j'ai décidé de faire plein nord pour aller chercher cette
That's when it
dépression.
all clicked together. I
Et
went
ça
at
a
it
été le
full blast
déclic,
and
j'y
found
suis
the
allé
pleasure
à
of
fond
sailing
et j'ai
again.
retrouvé le plaisir de faire du bateau au reaching,
Reaching,
sous
Jennifer
Genaker,
with the boat,
avec le bateau
underwater.
dans l'eau, quoi, ruisselant
water
d'eau
streaming
sur
on
le
the deck,
pont et moi avec
me
la
happy
banane en me
as can be,
disant
telling
ça
myself,
y est, je
that's
rentre dans
it, I'm in the
l'aventure.
adventure now.
Ma nouvelle façon
My
de
new way of
naviguer
sailing
découle de
results
ce
from that
moment
moment.
et j'en suis
And I'm
très heureux en
thrilled.
fait.
The Vendée Globe is like an excelling oneself school, and Conrad Coleman will have experimented it more than his share. The New Zealander has gone through difficult moments in these last 2 weeks.
I've been smacked by huge storms here, really powerful depressions. I've had my two most valuable sails just rip themselves to shreds in this craziness and almost taken with it the mast. But as you can see here, we're still here, the mast is there, the main is intact, and I'm sailing with the small jib, and I'm just thankful to still be in the race.
During the race, Jérémy Bayou must have often wondered if he hadn't reached the end, given all the trouble he's had. Today, unless new setback, nothing should prevent him from accessing the third step of the podium, and why not the highest? In 3 days en route to the equator, Maître Coq's skipper caught up no less than 500 miles on the 2 liters.
La nuit a été compliquée. Au-dessus de moi,
The night was complicated. Over my head, I saw clouds spreading all over. Finally brought me to a complete stop. Several hours, I had no wind whatsoever. So not a cool passage, no. Now I hope it's only a squall line, that it's not the doldrums already coming up then. So if the doldrums work out, a lot can happen during the ascent. There's still quite a distance to go. One thing is sure, at the head of the race, there's a fear the doldrums will end up to be a lottery game.
It's not all plain sailing at the moment. Just had a terrible night last night. I've actually felt like I did 1 or 2 knots for most of the night and into this morning, but today's not been too bad. There's been some wind that hopefully it won't be as painful the next 24 hours as the models suggest. Fingers crossed.
Nothing is simple. Here, we're in a really abnormal situation, which is quite surprising. I'm on the border of my competences where weather forecast is concerned, which isn't helping much. It's more mentally that things aren't easy to cope with, because if ever things went in Alex's favor, it would be hard to swallow. That's the way it goes. Very clearly, doubt is creeping up Armand Leclerc's mind. More so as he sees Alex Thompson 67 miles from his boat's transit. And 1 week ahead simulations made by an amused Jean Le Cam aren't meant to reassure him. Here, I made a routing on the arrival, as much as when the first arrived, there's this incredible instability, real mess. For us, it seems to clear up. The doors open up before us. So, let's not be negative when we can only be positive. Jean Le Cam has been sailing side by side with Yann Yanies for a month now after the two joined south of Tasmania. The challenge between the two be the first of the straight keel IMOCAs to reach les Sables d'Olonne, and neither one will give in.
Il y en a un peu partout.
They're all
Ils sont
over the
gros,
place.
mais ils avancent pas, les gros patapouf.
Big, but they don't move very fast.
Faut essayer de slalomer
Gotta try to
entre.
slalom.
Dans la première manche,
In the first
je me
round,
suis pris pour
I
Pinturo,
impersonated Pinturo.
J'ai
I succeeded to slalom between heavy rain. And then, at some point, unfortunately, I had to go lay down. And I woke up in heavy rain, where for an hour I had to stop leaving. So the second round won't be as good. But hey, during weeks, the two inseparables gave a hard time to Jean-Pierre Dick before he chose the westward option, which finally paid off.
Wait and see bien sûr, mais le bateau glisse bien,
but the boat is gliding smoothly,
tout plus vite que mes deux concurrents Yann et Jean qui sont à mon vent, donc tout a l'air de bien se passer pour l'instant.
Jean-Pierre Dick, fourth in the ranking, means 4 foilers have taken over the first 4 positions. From this perspective, a fact which bleeds in favor of the most striking technical innovation in this Vendée Globe. Most of the competitors still in the Pacific are far from these considerations. They go about the race at their own pace and know that at the very end of the largest ocean, a beautiful reward is awaiting. We're well at it at the moment. In 10 or 12 days, we should reach the Cape Horn. All is going well.
On est enfin bien reparti là, toujours dans l'anticyclone, à l'assaut du Cap Horn. Et ça c'est quand même un truc de malade. Voilà, on sera au Cap Horn dimanche dans la journée, ou dimanche soir. Et ça commence à devenir très excitant.
Ça c'est nous.
This is us.
Et ça c'est le Horn. On vient de le passer. Je monte sur la carte parce que moi je le vois, mais je sais pas si vous allez le voir. Il est là-bas, vous voyez, le Cape Horn.
You see it, the Cape Horn.
Quelle aventure.
What an adventure. Long live the Cape Horn. Bye now. The Comme un seul homme skipper is the first freshman of this 8th Vendée Globe to cross the mythical Cape, followed a few hours later by another freshman, Conrad Coleman. In just about a week, the Vendée Globe should have delivered its verdict and consecrate François Gabal's successor. By relegating Alex Thompson at more than 200 miles these last days, Armel Leclerc had regained the upper hand, but nothing is set yet. At any opportunity, the Welsh is ready to pounce on its prey.
Hello everyone, well this is my my bird friend who is the flying fish hunter. Here he goes, he's going to dive down to a flying fish. Go on son, go on. It's like a bird of prey. Ooh. There he is. Come on, you can do it. Oh, there he goes. Amazing stuff.